شكرا.
Thank you, Mr. President. At the outset, we would like to express our deepest thanks to Mr. Tom Fletcher and Ms. Angelica Jacome for their comprehensive briefings. Two briefings that painted a clear picture of an unbearable situation that we can no longer ignore. Over 19 months of a brutal act of aggression against an unarmed people, over 70 days of a stifling blockade on Gaza. This is no mere passing crisis. This is a humanitarian tragedy as large as the moral shame that will continue to follow all those who participated or were complicit in the making of this tragedy, even those who remain silent as it unfolds. Mr. President, today, the only thing allowed entry into Gaza is death. Bombs and gunfire pass freely into the Gaza Strip, while babies are denied milk. They have banned water and medicine. They have closed border crossings. They have closed crossings before life. Children are left to fend for themselves, to confront the specter of starvation and the inferno of the blockade. The residents of Gaza are deprived of everything except for death and fear. They witness as their homes crumble, as their frail bodies continue to wither, as we see that the international community has lost its humanity, has uncovered this ugly face. This world has grown accustomed to this catastrophe unfolding before our eyes without any action, as if the images of fathers and mothers gathering the body parts of their daughters and sons, these bodies that were torn by missiles and bombs of the Israeli occupier, as if these images are meaningless. Today, we are before the loud collapse of the system of values that, until very recently, we were all under the impression that it brought us together. We are before a crossroad between morality and special interests. And unfortunately, the Palestinian people are being treated as disposable beings without any right to life, hope, or dignity. How would it not be so, since the occupier has described the residents of Gaza as human animals and is treating them as so? I would even contend that animals receive more mercy and are granted more rights than the unarmed Palestinian people who are besieged in their homes. Mr. President, we are witnessing live and before everyone a systemic crime of starvation perpetrated by the Israeli occupier against over 2 million Palestinians. This is a clear, full-fledged crime, and the accused is known to all and condemned by all. All humanitarian organizations and all those who continue to have conscience in this situation that has become lawless, they have all condemned this crime and have called for the end of this crime and to hold those involved accountable. The Director General of the WHO declared, and I quote, "We do not need to officially declare that there is starvation because we know that people are starving and that food and medicine is merely minutes away and they are prevented from entering the Gaza Strip. However, unfortunately, indifference, complicity even, this is what we've seen happen, as if we have grown accustomed to the suffering of the Palestinian people. Families are being bombed. Children are being burnt alive. People, not only are they starving, they're left so that they die slowly and painfully as the world witnesses this tragedy, then moves on. And the result, the wave of death, does not discriminate between young people and old people. They're all suffering from starvation, disease, and desperation. Over the course of 1 week, 14 older people in Gaza starved to death. Since March 2, 2025, 57 children died because of malnutrition. This is merely the beginning, although this is quite a high number, as there is a sharp shortage in food and medicine. Humanitarian organizations have warned that over 93% of the children of Gaza, in other words, 930,000 children, are suffering from starvation. As the residents of Gaza are witnessing and suffering from this catastrophe, there are over 3,000 trucks and 116,000 metric tons of food items are ready to enter Gaza to be distributed to all those who are starving. They're only waiting for a permit to enter. The occupying power, Israel alone, is impeding this entrance in a blatant violation of international law and in a direct violation of the binding orders of the ICJ. Humanitarian organizations, especially UNRWA, the cornerstone of humanitarian work in Gaza, the occupying power has been promoting of a so-called humanitarian plan that would provide relief to the residents of Gaza as the machinery of blockade and killing of Israel is taking their lives away. This plan is rejected. It is rejected as announced by the UN and international organizations. It does not meet the urgent and basic needs of over 2 million people and is far, far away from the humanitarian principles, the principles of neutrality, independence, and dignity. Mr. President, this is a man-made catastrophe. It comes as a result of the inaction that has paralyzed multilateralism. There is food. There is the ability to treat. What we are lacking is will and the capacity to impose the law and to enforce the law. We are not lacking in supplies. We are lacking in humanity. Families in Gaza are forced to eat animal feed and to boil leaves or whatever leaves are left in order to survive. This is not a crisis of resources. This is a crisis of conscience. It is high time for this Council, which shoulders the responsibility of maintaining international peace and security. It is high time for us to listen to the cries of Gaza as it is suffocating under the rubble, to listen to the call of humanity. It is no longer possible for the world to stand idly by as this people is being killed silently, as the Palestinian people is besieged and is denied the basic rights to life. We call for lifting the blockade on our people in Gaza, on opening the crossings for the delivery of humanitarian aid, to put an end to forceful displacement. The Palestinian people wants a nation. They want a country, dignity. They want peace without any conditions, and not a partial peace. They want a fair and permanent peace. They want an independent state on a land, on a territory called Palestine, with Al-Quds al-Sharif as its capital. I thank you.